B16. B16.
It's Parkside Ocean at the moment.
Hawks.
These at the western edge of the district.
Okay. What's the end stop or beginning stop is?
Prospect Park.
And the other end is what? What's the other?
Fort Hamilton.
Okay.
Debbie Smiles. You know, God's working on it, so he controls it all, so that's what's going on.
All right, welcome people to the January meeting of this committee. I'm Ethan Little, the committee chair. Since it's a new year, we can just all introduce ourselves. Paco, you go first, and I'll continue around.
Paco Abraham, secretary of the committee, longtime member.
Just do a clockwise.
Okay, Valerie Fleming, resident member, long time with Paco. We're holding it down. What's CV9?
Rashid Abdul, board member.
Felice Robinson, board member, second vice chair.
Callista, committee member, longtime transportation committee member.
Andrew, board member and vice chair of this committee.
All right. With that said, before we get into it, John, I just want to make a quick note. Last month, our most recent recommendation got passed at the full board. And of
What's
course,
recommendation?
about the Brooklyn Kingston bike lane,
Oh, yeah.
school safety plan. That got passed at full board, so we have something to at least negotiate with DOT with, and eventually have whatever plan comes out be one that's at least closer to what the community wants compared to what would have come up straight from DOT initially. It also frees up a lot of our time, so now we can go after other problems that need fixing or things that need planning throughout the district. And I am happy to get to those as soon as we can.
So I just have one comment I just want to make. In the future, when you do bring resolutions to the general board, that they be final. What was presented was not a final plan. So people didn't know what they were voting on, right? Because it was, the recommendations were subject to change, right? And you had 3 different versions on a piece of paper with regards to what was to be implemented, because it was subject to change. And if I were to do that with my old committee, when I used to work, I would have been fired, because you're asking for funding for something that's subject to change. So in the future, right, if you bring something to a general board, it should be a final product, not something that's subject to change.
I made that graphic, sorry if it was a little unclear. What it was trying to show was the original plan that DOT came with, the modified plan in that middle column, and then the third thing was what we were asking for. We're trying to prove that we are making strides towards listening to what we've heard here.
Understood. All I'm saying
That third
is
thing,
that,
we were not voting on the other two.
all I'm saying is that if you want a document that people be voted on, do not have the words subject to change when you're trying to bring it for a final approval for a committee. Because that's what it was titled. Recommendation
Well, I don't know.
subject to change. And then later on, after it was passed, then an amendment was presented, and that also was posted somewhere where I read, I can't recall. But everybody voted on something that was subject to change. It was not a final document that was from this committee.
Are you referring to the watermark on top of the document that says subject to change?
I'm
The
saying it was
draft?
a title. That wasn't a watermark. It was a title on top. Recommendations subject to change, not a watermark.
Well, that's because recommendations are subject to change by the board when it's being voted on. Someone can amend it. So it would be very disingenuous for us to say it's a final plan before it's even passed by the board. Recommendations passed by committees, until they are voted on by the full board, are always subject to change because it just takes one person to begin an amendment.
So I disagree because that is waste. I don't want to take all the time on this.
I know.
It's subject to waste, it's wasteful spending, it is not an efficient way in order to grab money. If I was to go before my former appropriations committee and ask for a job that's total of $10 million, but give me $2 million to start out with, and I'll let you know if I need $8 million or another 20. Right? It was not a final position that you presented to be voted on. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, I have 2 points to just clarify on that. The first one is that it actually was not my idea to put that on the paper. Those words are used by the board office so that people are not confused because these things go out to the public so they can see what's in the works before it's finalized by the full board. So those words must be there
Okay.
until it is finally voted.
So I don't want to take too, I'm just going to say it was confusing to a total of 27 people that I spoke to.
Okay,
All right? So I'm their voice now. So what I'm saying is that even they want something that is final. Because when they looked at it, they said, hey, this can be changed. And they didn't understand what the board was to vote on, the general board was to vote on.
okay.
All right? So that's 27 people that I spoke to. All right? They said they don't know what this was. And there should have been a final plan that was just given to the general board to vote on. Nothing that says subject to change. That's it.
Okay, well, that verbiage is gone as soon as the board votes on it finally. When the board adopts it, that goes away.
No,
It's
what-
no longer subject to change.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
okay, that shouldn't be there as a final piece of paperwork and documentation to a general board to vote on.
Is it unique to our committee?
Oh, yeah.
It's always.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I checked with other boards, and that was unique to this board, because the ones that I spoke to said it should have been something that's final,
Well,
but not representing 3 different renditions or plans, because that's how it was interpreted.
okay.
Okay, so I'm saying that I understand that, you know, you wanted to get this passed, this is what you wanted and whatnot, and great, I got that. But what I'm saying here is that it was confusing to 27 people that I spoke to.
Okay.
And I spoke to other boards, and they said, no, it should be something that's final, not something that's subject to change to be brought to a general board. They just found it strange.
Okay. Well, we'll talk more about that, and I could also loop in the board staff too, so that they know that when, because there was intended to be a watermark, that actual phrase. So we can probably get that sorted out so that in future, it's not handled in a confusing way.
Just don't do it again, that's all.
Okay.
Don't, if it's something final, let it be final, and let it run on its own merits. Not that it's subject to change. If I design a project, right,
Mhm.
I'm going to say, hey, this is the project that I want, it's right here, and this is what I am presenting. All right? And they can ask me questions on that, not that it's subject to change. And you can pull up the agenda or what was back in December,
It's
and
in
it
front of
says,
me, and there isn't any,
said subject to change.
there's,
You don't have to look for it now, let's move on.
Where-
Let's
it's
move
not,
on.
it's not there. I'm not saying I'm looking for it, it is not there.
All right, so
in the file.
I'll, you know what, I have the emails, I'll get it, because I printed it out, and I'll forward it to you guys.
The reason.
Oh, it's a header. It
Yeah,
says
it's a watermark
draft
in the header.
committee recommendation subject to future changes. I get how that could be unclear. I think what it intends to say and what we can modify is subject to discussion and approval.
But that's not the message that was portrayed outside,
We'll do that.
Understandable, okay,
all right? It was not, you confused a lot of people.
okay, understandable.
And it wasn't on the graphic page. It was on the next page.
Yeah, it was just that one.
I'm just
bit.
saying, it was there,
Yeah,
that's
I
what
get what
people
you're saying.
remember, it was
Yeah,
totally confusing,
So I think,
and they, it wasn't a good look.
fair, we're sorry you were afraid that it might change after the 400, I guess, but, yeah, no,
It should be final, boom, and then they're gonna vote on the final product. If that's what you want, a final
The
product.
final recommendations that we brought to the full board have not remained final.
That's
in
the thing.
past.
That's the other,
But you're presenting something from this committee to go to a step higher, and what you're saying here is that, okay, we're bringing this higher, but it's subject to change.
Yeah, by the adopting body.
No, you're bringing it to for people to vote on, right? So what are
That's-
people to vote on?
But I'm saying that's where it often gets changed. Like each of the other plans we've submitted before were changed during those voting sessions. It is what happens. I'm not saying
Okay.
that it has to
Okay.
continue this way, I'm not saying that at all. We can.
Okay, all right, let's see what happens on the next ones that happen. All right, so let's
Yeah,
move
so-
on. Let's move on.
That
That's
seems
fine.
better.
Hmm?
That seems better to me.
28.
What seems better? Wait, I didn't hear.
David Kupferberg, member Passengers United. Subject to recommendation and approval seems a better
Yeah.
phrase to me.
Now, the reason why that header watermark was there in the first place is because if people are, cycling around and sharing around committee recommendations that look like a board resolution,
Yeah.
people are gonna be like, whoa, when did this get passed? And they're gonna think that they have something final in their hands,
Yeah.
when in reality, it's a plan that this committee made and has not yet been adopted
Then you
by
should
the
have
board.
written in a different format. If there's a concern
Yeah.
that this may look like a resolution, then it should have been written in a different format, because I caught that too. It was written as though it was a resolution,
Well,
a resolution.
a recommendation is a recommendation to adopt the resolution, so it is written in the resolution format at this stage. It always is.
Okay,
It's just that it doesn't have like the letterhead and everything as it does finally. What's added, when it's adopted, what's added is the letterhead, the executive members on the side, and the final form. But it is written in the style of a resolution from here.
no problem. At the end of the day, it was confusing to a lot of people.
I got you. Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna solve that.
All right.
That's fair. All right. First thing on the agenda is approving December's minutes. Everyone should have a copy. And if you have any issues, please make them known so we can address those and make changes.
There was a date that was wrong. That mentioned the D49 resolution from the past that said 10/23/25, but that was actually 10/23/23.
Okay,
So that,
so that's one change you're gonna make. Yeah, I see that. That's on the second page, like the back of the first page. Alright, I believe you called it at 75 or so, just now? Sure, I think so, I'm just gonna mark that.
Don't go back to the pages.
Yeah. 1023, 23. Alright, do we have any other changes to requests? Alright, do I have a second call? Any changes to request or do the minutes look all set?
So let's go to the next.
Okay. Alright,
motion to approve pending that date change.
I make a motion to approve pending the date change that I think anyone else has seen. And it's corrected at this time.
we'll see there. Alright, so this
This is holy
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's sign. One here to approve some of the minutes. Alright. Some of the minutes are approved. We got one change we need to,
This meeting starts.
oh, 7.
That's easy.
So that one change, that's 23 and we should be good to go. Okay.
Or just a sign.
next item on the agenda is assessing city bike station placement and usage. And this is mainly where we're going to, if anyone has any city bike station placement they'd like to bring up or address, we can tackle them one by one and see what would the ideal move would be, whether it's leave them as is, reduce the size, and or remove, etc. So we're gonna basically review any city bike stations that may be problematic at this point.
We had, in the minutes here, 5 under new business, that we didn't get to discuss. There's an issue with the city bike station. Is this the one that you brought up on Sterling Street? And I thought I saw a video.
Yeah.
Did you do a video?
Sterling and Ocean.
Sterling and Ocean is one of them, and I'm also seeing in New York and Basin.
Right, so maybe we could consider that, since we talked about it last meeting, we've been pushing it to this, so,
Yeah.
Wait, did you
That's
get
a
this
good place to
last
start.
time? Or is it different?
I mean, the Sterling Street Nostrand bike, city bike station has been an issue for a while, because people have brought up the fact that, because of how far out the parking lane is to the side of that station, often cars can't turn in. If there's an ambulance at the building coming near the end of the block, vehicles can't turn into Sterling, and that sometimes backs up Nostrand, and it just prevents folks from getting into that side street. So that's a pretty pernicious issue that should be resolved. It could be resolved by either like shortening the bike station, making it half size, or some people suggest removing it to the further into that block instead of being at the corner. I think those are all viable options. Anyone has any thoughts on that? Feel free to share those.
Couldn't the width of it change? Cause it's,
I thought that, that there was just like a lot of dead space between
Yeah.
the bike and the bollards.
right, I think the bollards ought to be moved closer to the curb to give more room for vehicles.
Yeah, but the bollards are in line with the rest of the parking lot on that whole street.
Yeah, but the parking lot is just a
Just paint. I mean, you could also run over the bollards if you want, but people don't want to park on top of the bollards. Usually.
Or they're just plastic.
Yeah, the plastic,
We
the
don't need
plexiglass.
those. They should be like real
They-
bike racks.
They really don't do anything, I agree,
They're
but
terrible.
they, when people park, they park next to them because they're following the law, and then that blocks the flow of traffic for others. So, but, I mean, if there's sidewalk space on that block, sure. If there's not, shorten not shorten, decrease the depth of the painted area. I think we talked about both of these last week.
Are you guys taking suggestions for bike racks? Is that what's going on?
City
Well,
bikes.
Yes, we're assessing city bike stations and.
Can we have, for every city bike rack, can we have a regular bike rack? 2 regular bike racks? Same size?
So have we finished discussing this item first before we go to the next item?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were done with it. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if there are suggestions about like city bike station placement,
Let's finish with what she wanted to finish with. I
Right,
didn't
so
it's
realize.
the same topic, yeah.
So what would be the action that will come forth with this? So we'll be sending recommendations to City Bike, whoever does this,
To DOT as
to
well.
DOT, to let them know, cause you had the video, which is a good video, showing that, there is congestion in that particular area.
Right. I mean, letting them know is one thing, but we also need to suggest a solution.
Okay, so you said to
So-
shorten the painted area,
To reduce the depth of the bollard, or even remove the bollard. I don't know, by design, I don't know if they'll do that, but now.
Well, yeah, the bollards are an issue because people might, without them, folks might park nearer to the bike station, and that might allow people to be able to pass through. As it
We
stands.
already had a solution for this, remember? Put it on Empire. Put a bike rack on Empire, on the same block,
Yeah.
but on Empire.
I mean, we can offer all of those solutions at once, we just have to make sure they take one of these one. So yeah, that's a good one too. Moving it to
Just
Empire.
move it, it's a big problem, just move it.
The Empire and where by the schoolyard where they have the,
Empire's very wide, like right there by the bank, there's a lot of room there.
I don't think there's a lot of room by the bank.
It's a-
They
No,
already got
there
the
isn't a
fruit
lot of room by the
stand
bank.
over there, the bus stop
No,
is
no,
over
not
there.
that bank, the other bank.
Oh, Carver.
Carver, that block is very wide. Very wide, that
Suggestion,
sidewalk.
just
not-
put it
not
on the
even-
northwest corner instead of
Yes.
the northeast corner.
The northwest
This
corner
was
where
across the street,
the
right?
where the fruit vendor is right now?
Because what happens is that,
The
I'm looking
north
from a utility point of view, okay? So when we install utility poles, we do our best to put them in locations where vehicles won't turn into them,
Makes sense.
okay? And if we cannot do that, instead of putting what's known as a class 2 pole, we put a class 1 pole, which is a thicker pole. So if you do hit it, well, the pole's gonna stay. You can't do that because it's a bike rack.
Right.
So, put it on the northwest corner,
Yeah.
right? So that you don't have traffic that's trying to turn and, make it too short, hit the bikes or whatever. And that's it.
People, but Empire's in another place, that's very wide sidewalk.
That's
So
further
I
from
gave you a
the subway.
suggestion, I think that's a good one.
It's on the same block.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
So let's move on, please.
All right.
You taking a list of suggestions?
I mean, we have like 3 so far. One of them was to remove the bollards. One of them was to.
All those new apartment buildings over on Franklin have very wide sidewalk. They all need a bike rack.
A new bike rack.
A new one, they took them all the way. All the ones that were on Sullivan, the one by Lydell, gone. The one over by McDonald's, gone. The one, there's a whole big wide, in that new apartment building that's on Franklin, between Montgomery, Crown. There's a huge sidewalk there, there needs to be city bike racks.
I thought that was temporary during the construction.
Yeah.
They
Not
never
a good
put
suggestion.
anything
We're
back.
trying- I live over there. We have to make an assessment first. That's not a good suggestion, because they are still building.
No, the one that's built, the building that's open.
I don't know what they're still not finished. I don't know
No,
what they're
the-
planning
the-
to do.
There's one on the other side of Crown.
That's
And that
open,
one as well.
that's open, that's done. There's a big sidewalk there, like,
So I think
Well,
that they
Chipotle
removed
I
those.
think that,
They removed them during the construction and they did not put them back.
well, they removed bikes during construction on Sullivan in front of Lydell.
Yeah.
Where the Lydell is gonna be, those were removed. Those are missed. They did put one over by, with the McDonald's, there was a bike rack there. They removed that one as well, not replaced. Because when they did construction on that corner, when they added all the, because they dug up our community garden that we got funding for over there. They dug up our garden in the tree pit there, and they took away the bike rack that was there. And that's not back. And I think it's called Lodo, that big building that's on Franklin.
Low deck, yeah.
Loden, that is open. People, I think there's a big, huge sidewalk there. And it wouldn't bother anybody.
So we could remove bike lane,
You know
or
what I'm
remove the bike
talking
rack
about?
from,
I'm trying to envision what you're saying.
It's
Maple
right across
and
the
Nostrand.
street.
And
Sorry.
more.
I'm sorry?
I feel like we're talking about 2 different things. Can we just finish
Yeah.
the Sterling,
Oh, I thought.
Nostrand? Right, so we're saying we're concerned about vehicle flow, we wanna send recommendations to City Bike. That could be moving the City Bike station to Empire, removing the bollards, or just adjusting their placement, or Ron's suggestion, move to the northwest corner.
Yeah. Okay.
That northwest corner, I know, is a ponding problem.
Yeah.
Well, they just have to regrade the street.
Maybe you might make
Well,
it fix it.
It would be amazing if
Are you talking
think,
about
like,
the corner where
the
the
northwest corner of Nostrand and Sterling,
Is
right by the
that
subway,
where the-
there's a Kansas
Kansas.
chicken place.
oh no, don't put it
So-
there. Don't
Okay,
put it
well,
there. I would
that-
disagree with that.
Okay.
They
No.
put it across the street, they put it on the southwest corner.
Don't
That's a-
put it there,
that's a
don't put it by
tighter-
the
there's
Kansas
less
City.
sidewalk.
Mm-mm.
That's just a tighter area.
I'm on
Oh,
record
okay.
saying.
What
don't
about
do that.
Across Sterling, near Sterling Deli and Grove corner, the eastern corner.
Well, I think Ron's suggestion is really good. I do think the ponding issue is a separate issue. It's been 12 years of 311 requests.
So
that
in
I've
your
done.
recommendation, I would suggest to, see if that they can take care of the ponding by either adding an additional catch basin, all right, or regrading the street
So-
towards the.
Right, so I would love that to happen, I think that
You
should.
can put it
down.
It's, I know, but I'm saying
Yeah,
it's,
you can put that
we will put that
down,
on paper.
and that would take
It's-
care of two things at one time.
right,
That's
but
a
we
good
can't
suggestion.
send in a resolution for DOT to do something that DEP has to do.
Okay.
And I know City Bike won't do that because of electrical concern with ponding. I'm, like, the
Oh, yeah.
the
right,
base of the
right.
docks needs electrical access.
Yeah.
I assume that would be a big hazard
Mm.
if it's a known ponding issue. Oh, okay.
It should be, it should be GFI and everything out there should be water impregnated cable. If they're not using water impregnated
That's a
cable,
problem.
then
So-
yes, you're right.
Right, okay, so I would say then maybe we make a separate resolution for DEP to fix that corner, but
I mean, we should have a separate ponding and corners.
yeah, there's
conversation
multiple corners
entirely.
that,
There's a lot.
That's a terrible corner, and I know a lot of requests have been made for multiple years about that corner.
We
Just
should
help
Putting the
them
bike
downtown.
racks
put a
there
list
is
together,
not-
amplify it, send
Yeah.
it to the DOT, DEP.
Yes.
I know, I mean, I've spoken to Dante a number of times about some other, further down Sterling and Rogers is terrible.
That is underwater still, every day.
Yes, and it's,
And if you drive
it's
for a
like
week,
20
it's
feet,
still wet.
but they have not regraded the street, so.
Are you talking about Sterling?
Sterling and Rogers.
They were also, they dumped a whole bunch of concrete there that's all washing down the sidewalk today.
You
A
wanna
whole
put
bunch
it,
of concrete.
put it up against the park. If you put it on the sidewalk up against the park, put it down
Oh,
mid-block,
the
Yeah,
playground.
I had,
The
yeah.
playground's not a bad idea.
mid-block.
On
I
the
mean,
same
the basic-
block,
That was
but
that was
then
the
street.
biggest ask I've seen most frequently. People are asking, can you just move it further into the
Yeah.
block or still?
That
So-
sounds like a good one.
We'll give,
That
we'll
was the
say-
one
But
that
that could be a
better one.
fourth
a
one.
suite of options in priority order on the sidewalk on the same block or in other blocks such as blank, blank, blank.
Yeah, if
And
they could put it-
Empire has all the buses coming there too.
So I think,
Yeah.
are we squared with this
Why
one?
can't I see Empire?
No one's moving
What's the
forward.
one?
No one's moving it yet, so.
This one right here.
Correct. Alright, I make a motion to solidify that city bike station and move on to the next one. Do we have to do each of these as individuals?
No.
Are we done with
that-
this?
That's a
Yeah.
slate
No,
of
just-
options.
So,
Right, so,
So
you know, but
what's
this
next?
was just lingering from last time,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
thought that we should.
I thought that there was
Yeah,
a
that's what I
second,
told you, no,
New
that's
York
why I
and
put it.
Naples.
New York and Maple.
Yeah.
So that's the resolution?
So wait, hold on, Andrew just moved to adopt
Well,
all of that.
I maybe misunderstood. I thought that we were gonna do each location
Yeah.
individually, we'll package them all together, but I'm just like, we're closing the door on this one, we'll move to the
Right.
next one. So, New York and Maple was the other one you brought up?
Right, New York and Maple, right here.
Do you remember, was
With
that Cam?
Sterling, well, it was really Cam, you had brought it up, so you know more about it than I do,
You don't want it there?
but this is all the same station, Sterling Street and Ocean Avenue.
They're two different
And-
stations.
And then, so there's another one on
Comma.
New York Avenue. Is that up by the library,
That's at the
maybe?
library,
Okay,
yeah.
that's by the library. And Maple Street.
Oh, the library. You should leave that one.
I've used that doc.
So that means we should keep it because you used it.
No, I'm just giving context. You brought it up to remove, is that right?
Is it right?
No, did you bring it up to remove?
Based on what everybody on the block feels, yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. So let's talk about that. What-
Yeah, that was what I said last time. It's people feel that it's a nuisance and people don't generally want it there. I don't know who's using it or not using it, but I know what the block is feeling on that.
Okay.
There's quite a few, apartment buildings, I don't know how many cars, or I don't know
Yeah.
how the traffic flows there, you know, cause I've gone down that block a couple of times and, you know, for parking, that's one thing, you know, to walk to the library, but I'm not sure what the people on the block are saying, they would be the ones that have more input.
Is there any like petition or anything from people on the block?
Is it too long, could
Yeah,
you
it's
cut
what-
it down?
You can move it around the corner, perhaps on the sidewalk.
It's
I don't
on-
know, there's probably other areas for it around there, but where it's sitting, people just don't want it there.
Do you have a
It's
picture?
in the street,
Yeah.
right, it's in the street on
Yeah.
this side by the library.
I know several people on that block that also love it, so I'm not dismissing what you're saying, but I also know people on that same block that would say the exact opposite.
But then they probably won't mind if it's around the corner.
know, but
Well, what-
he said people don't like it, I'm saying people also like it.
Well,
Both
I
can be
just did
true.
a suggestion.
Is it in a street? Like, what's the problem?
It's
with
on
it?
the street.
It's in the street.
You want it on the sidewalk? Or not at all?
If possible, around the corner on the sidewalk or somewhere else.
Sidewalks, not wide enough by the library, maybe.
Can you shorten it, cause how many bike racks are on that station, I'm not sure.
From what I'm seeing, there are, I would say about 20 in that area. It looks like there are.
You can't really tell by what's now because it's so cold. Nobody's riding a bike. Well, not nobody, but you know, come on.
You know, City Bike documents all this stuff. All the numbers of all the usages are here.
Yeah, I know.
Like
I'm
for-
looking right now.
And
Yesterday, 15 of them were used.
This dock gets used on average 36 times per day.
Yeah, I have a. Yeah.
I don't think that's low use, to be
Well,
honest. I think it's more than.
That's one of the higher in our neighborhood. I think because of the library probably, right?
I mean,
Yeah, with the
demand is one
library
thing,
on.
location and perfect placement is another. So I think there is a demand for something around there. It doesn't have to be exactly that form on the street, maybe not.
I mean, yeah, you can look at the monthly uses over the last 6 months as well and see how it's been doing. In October this year, it was used about 774 times, meaning a bike taken out of it. In September,
Oh, is it?
It's excellent.
Oh, is it?
Okay. Yeah, in September, it was, we can count about 972 undockings. In July, like 818 undockings. And if we go to more recently, we had 60 people take a bike out of it on Sunday, this past Sunday, January 10th. We had 16 folks take one out sorry, that was Saturday. 60 was Saturday, 16 is Sunday, we have 17 on Monday, and yesterday we had 15 people take a bike out of that city bike station.
$5 to rent that bike for 30 minutes. That's ridiculous. They should be cheaper.
Agreed.
I think what the concern is that not just the number of usage, what it is that can the location can be relocated to another site?
That's what I
The
suggested.
question is not about usage.
Right,
The question is, can it be located to another site?
that's what I suggested,
Oh,
around
yeah.
the corner.
Right.
Can I ask why people think it's a nuisance?
Because there's more and more people camping out there at times. There's a few homeless people who kind of turned it into a little tent area. And then it's taken up at least 3 parking spaces. And now we have a new construction on the block as well, adding about another, 100 units. It's just becoming increasingly tight for people, and they don't want it there. I know the block, I don't know who the people on the block are, we just love it. I'd like to know who they are, I don't know them, I'm not hearing that, but I guess people who don't live on my block know more about it than I do, so.
I'm curious to know more about the homeless encampment, because I pass it every day. I've seen dirt there, but I've never seen homeless encampment there. And I know they just cleaned it.
Yeah.
What does it mean if
I'm not
it's
sure
black
what
right here, that it's broken?
Well, no, you just raised it,
They're
so
all
I'm
blue
curious to
with
know
that
more.
one.
About what do you want
You
to
just
know?
said that there's homeless encampment there.
I didn't say an encampment, I said sometimes they're building tents there, on the
Yeah,
bike
because
rack.
that's one.
Okay.
That's a quality of life issue.
Yeah.
That's not.
That's why people on the block don't want it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And as far as it's like heavy use, I mean, maybe, but that's not what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing bikes flying off that rack. So again, if there's another place along New York Avenue in that vicinity, where there's a bigger sidewalk, perhaps moving it there. But I don't think anybody on that block wants it. But I guess there's just a whole lot of people on the block who I don't know who love it, so.
We're gonna have to build a case to remove it because I'm not like city bike. A lot of the agencies don't really care if people on the block like it or not.
I know,
They don't. They don't.
I know.
And having us say it.
and that's an issue, is that if it's something that people are not asking for and it's happening, then it should be brought up. Now, whether they feel that way or they don't feel that way is, I can't control that. But I don't think that we should be saying because they don't care, we should make an issue of it.
Do you know if you or any neighbors have done like 311 or
What's
other
that?
action? Have you or your neighbors done any 311 or other actions?
I haven't gone around to ask my neighbors if they've done 311 calls.
You could check.
No, I mean, it sounds like a concern for quality of life. It doesn't sound like it's related to the bikes necessarily.
Well, it's because the bike rack is there.
I live next to a city bike dock for years. I didn't have
That's
that
great,
issue.
I'm proud that you do.
No, I didn't have that same issue.
Okay, and I'm glad that you don't, but we do.
So
Maybe we
the
can get some
concern
more
is, can it be
data.
relocated if,
Right.
if a case has to be made,
Yeah.
right, because it's not a suitable spot, then what is it that has to be done in order to make that case?
Yes.
I think that's the question.
Yeah, and we have a few different angles to come from. One of them could be youth numbers. If it's not used enough compared to the docks nearby, it might be a case for removing it somewhere else. Another case could be upkeep and maintenance. If it isn't cleaned often enough, we can move it to a spot where it might be better taken care of or it might need less strenuous upkeep. Or even if we could, if we have a target location that's better than the one it's currently at, we also could, have a good case for it to move there. But it's gonna have to be something more than just people who live nearby it would like it to be somewhere else, because in that case, you end up with this situation where if you don't like it, you move it somewhere else, and if they don't like it, they move it somewhere else. It becomes kind of like a weird